Hi, people. It's the retired Angela Power Disney Angie, angelascashes.org. And as much as I am looking after health issues and family issues and all sorts of things, occasionally I just feel the need to get back out in the cabin and back online. So this is one of those moments. And myself, Sabine, and another lady were all interviewed back in 2016 by the BBC. This was Radio 4, Melanie Abbott, and myself and the other lady spoke out very clearly, just as supposed Hampstead residents, which we hadn't claimed to be. But because we spoke and said we're not actually residents, we do believe the children, our interviews weren't featured. But sadly, Sabine had been, I would say, tricked even as far back as then, which sadly seems to be a modus operandi for mainstream media, is to approach somebody pretending a documentary or an interview or something is going to be neutral and unbiased and investigative and so on. It's actually a setup. And with the expert editing, lighting, cutting, and narrative spinning, it turns into a nightmare. So
can I just interject, please, Angie?
Yes, please do.
They never told me the title. And the title was going to be turned out to be The Cult That Never Was.
Yeah, this is back with the Melanie Abbott thing, isn't it? Are you talking about
the entrapment?
Are you talking about the Melanie Abbott Radio 4?
Yes.
So even back then, the title was going to be The Cult That Never Was, but that information was not shared with the likes of Sabine. And then Sabine worked very hard to try and have her interview cut from the show, and of course it was declined. No, sorry, you're a public person, it's in the public interest, you consented. So you'd got stitched up there. Then there was, I don't know, I think you were featured in the Alexi Mostras podcast series on Hampstead, Tortoise Media. They featured you in that, didn't they?
The same procedure. Entrapment, I guess, is the technical term.
Yeah, I absolutely. And I would even go so far as to say grooming.
Yes, the grooming happened now in the last
series. The last one, it wasn't just
explicit grooming.
It was explicit grooming, which I find really offensive. So we'll talk about that. So, and I can also share, and I might share this first of all, where you had written to a lot of people, including the Channel 4 person. Can I share the email response from Shaminda?
I mean, that's what I'm working on, how to respond to her now, don't I? That's
right. Well, I'm going to read her response out because it's classic. It's what they do. Here we go. So I've hidden the email addresses. It says, "Dear Sabine, thank you for your email. We've read and considered your response carefully. Firstly, I would like to reassure you that the only footage we have filmed of you that is included in the documentary is the interview story films recorded with you in a hotel. No footage filmed in your flat has been used. We believe that there is a public interest in including your contribution in the documentary and that you were given sufficient information to provide informed consent." Well, I would definitely contest that. "The documentary is balanced," I would contest that too, "and gives you a fair opportunity to express your perspective on the case. I believe you have also been in contact with Story Films, who will respond to you separately." Now, the other thing I wanted to share in this interview, and if we have to do two, we will, is the Channel 4 press release from August. Because originally I was told it was due to be released in August on a Sunday evening.
That's what I was told.
Prime time, yeah. And then August came and went. And I presume they did plan on releasing it in August because that press release was in August. And the press release, I'm going to read out for people now and let you compare it to that email saying you had sufficient information to give informed consent. I'm now going to read out the press release, which, if the press release had been read to any of the people interviewed, I'm absolutely 100% sure they would have said thanks, but no thanks. Because the press release is honest and says it almost comes across as if they commissioned, as if two of the Hampstead mothers, it's almost as if they commissioned a documentary. That's how it comes across to me. I'm not saying they did do that, but that's how it comes across. I'll read this to you and I'll share the link in the description box. Now, bear in mind, this is back in August, but for some reason, it didn't go ahead as scheduled. Channel 4 commission accused the Hampstead paedophile hoax from Story Films. Channel 4 has commissioned a film that tells the shocking story of how a number of parents and teachers at a Hampstead school were accused of being part of a satanic paedophile ring. The allegations were found to be baseless, but the conspiracy theory caught fire online, leading to death threats, harassment, and abuse, much of which continues today. No mention of it leading to trauma, death threats, jail, and sectioning for the whistleblowers. That's my interjection. The mothers at the heart of this chilling story speak for the first time in this ambitious feature-length documentary, which blends real archive footage and interviews with lip-sync drama. Apparently the mothers don't want their voices heard, so they've got actors speaking.
Yeah, you see that, but they spoke in the court.
Yeah, but the court was kind of closed. I sent somebody to report on there, and he ended up spending a night in jail. Anyway, the story begins when videos were released online of two children accusing parents of their friends and teachers, didn't mention their father, of leading a paedophilic satanic cult supposedly headquartered in secret rooms on the school premises. No mention of Christchurch, Hampstead. No mention of the church, you notice. The story was entirely made up, concocted by their mother's new boyfriend, Abraham Christie. See, they're not even blaming the mother now. They're trying to pin the whole thing on Abe. But once the fire was lit, it was impossible to put out. The allegations plagued the lives of the accused. Footage shows screaming demonstrators chasing a vicar through Hampstead. I presume they're referring to Christine Ann Sands. And although she did shout, I don't remember any footage of a vicar being chased.
Neither, and all she was shouting was the URL of her website, hampsteadchristchurch.com.
Yeah, stop effing children. She was kind of American about it. It was a shock to the British culture, but, you know, people needed to make a noise. And then it says, a US conspiracy theorist flying to London to investigate and even rescue the children. Well, that's clearly referring to Rupert. And online threats of kidnap, and far worse. Most of this harassment was instigated by a small group of conspiracy theorists and trolls. Unbelievable. Given the amount...
They don't even know what a troll is. They misuse the term.
It's harassment and stalking online, including death threats. It's reputation destruction. It's everything I've been through and you've been through worse, spending 4 years in jail. And anybody that tried to speak to the children was, quote unquote, trolled. But I think it was much more serious than that. Back to the article. With the authorities unable to help, it fell on four. With the authorities unable to help, are you mad? It fell on four of the accused mums and a band of online activists to gather evidence and build a legal case against their harassers. From my research, I had some of the top researchers in the world helping. Ricky Dearman hired Karen Irving's husband's business, which is in the business of reputation rescue. So it's not a band of online mums just gathered together some people around them that helped them. They hired a professional company, Ricky Dearman and whoever, allegedly, according to in-depth research by very respected international researchers, retained and hired and paid Hampstead Research to bury this and to torture those trying to get the truth out. Okay, a band of online activists. Together, anyway, after 4 years of fighting to protect their children and get justice, they finally got their day in court. With exclusive audio testimony of the accused mothers at the center of this story, lip-synced by actors, and interviews from the conspiracy theorists. Can you believe it? If you and the others were said, oh, we want to interview you as a conspiracy theorist because we're making a documentary on behalf of the poor, victimized, accused people. It's just defies belief. Emily Turner's film explores the real-world impact of an outrageous online conspiracy theory, exploring the importance of truth and the cost of lies. Blah, blah, blah. And then it goes on to say, executive producer Peter Beard, and we do have people looking into everybody connected with this, as it well deserves, as so did Melanie Abbott with the BBC Radio 4 show. Emily's film, Peter Beard says, Emily's film is a remarkable, terrifying, and timely tale. The women at the heart of this story have been so brave in letting us tell their incredible fight for justice. Again, if story films had said to you or Rupert or Jake or any of the other conspiracy theorists, oh, we're going to tell the accused mother's stories, will you give us a statement or interview? You know, they entrapped and groomed you with a completely different agenda. Let me just finish this. So letting us tell some of the accused, their incredible fight for justice. Their story shows that any of us could wake up one morning and find ourselves in the middle of an internet conspiracy. The question is whether we'd have the strength to fight back in the way they did. Shaminda Nahal, who commissioned the film, definitely needs looking into. Emily Turner and Story Films have made a remarkable film that is so shocking and yet so relatable, asking huge questions about truth, trauma, and justice. The courage of the women at the center of this story is extraordinary, and the impact of their testimony so profound. And I'll read out the names for any additional researchers: director Emily Turner, editor Simon McMahon, executive producers Adam Hopkins and Peter Beard, composer Ed Harcourt, commissioning editor Shaminda Nahal. So having said that, I'm going to read your defense. And if Sabine just disappears, Sabine, for those that don't know, Sabine got sentenced to 9 years in jail for trying to give a voice to the brave children who disclosed in 2014, brother and sister, corroborative, consistent disclosures, and Sabine gave them a voice, and for her part in that, she got 9 years in jail. She served 4.5, and then was offered the choice between another 4.5 on license, or she could be deported to Germany, which she has taken. But nonetheless, the trauma of 4 years in jail, when you've been an upstanding citizen all your life and spoken in the European Parliament and campaigned and so on and so forth, it's a miracle Sabine is even talking, let alone talking sense and taking action, you know. So if Sabine disappears off screen, she's just gone to get a cup of tea or take a breath. And I'm going to...
Let me just interject.
Okay. Make sure your volume is good. Make sure you're close to the microphone. Your volume's a bit low. I'll turn you up on my end. Okay, go ahead.
I began by writing defense explicitly taking all of the bits of Shaminder's email.
Yeah.
And then after discussing with Brian, I focused more, but I haven't sent anything yet.
Right. Yeah,
But
this is
it was
21
felt
pages.
it was too long. It was,
Yes.
I think it was 4 pages. But
Okay.
then the other terribly important person in my life is Sandra Fecht, the Canadian therapist through
Yes.
whom I learned a lot about SRA.
Okay.
She felt that I needed to write something like a scientific article.
Okay.
She lost her license because to practice psychotherapy in Ontario in Canada, and 80,000 Canadian dollars to lawyers.
Oh my goodness.
Because she spoke out about SRA.
Anybody that spoke out got it's unbelievable. Anybody that spoke out was we're the victims of trolling. I would say, and it was gross of Channel 4 and Story Films to pretend that they were doing an unbiased investigation when what they were actually doing was trying to get the voices of the accused heard. You know, it's almost like it's unbelievable. But anyway, let me read. I'm just going to read through this. It will be a written document. Hopefully it will be published like a scientific paper. But there's a generation that will look at 21-page documents, and then there's a generation that wants to just listen in a podcast on the way to work or whatever. So I'm just entering this into the record, and we'll take it from there. Do you want me to do share screen so you can see this as well, or not?
Oh, it's fine if I just hear it. The only
good.
thing that concerns me is, of course, I've got a lot of links there which I haven't put as either footnotes or endnotes yet.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Don't be. I know you are a perfectionist and you're mathematically minded. I'm just entering the text into and then obviously when it's published, we can put the link out and people can get it for themselves. But I'm going to go through this quickly just to document it and enter it into the record. The terrible reality.
But remember, I have to stop just before 3 anyway.
Oh, I'm not going to go that long, I promise you. Even if we have to do this in 2 goes, we'll do a part 2. So this is a defense document, 21 pages with many links, which I'm familiar with and which are well worth a look into. The terrible reality of satanic ritual abuse, SRA, and the happy end of quote unquote plausible deniability. Facts about Hampstead as one of multiple cases in at least 16 countries as evidence for Mr. Global and his allies in deep states. Compiled by Sabine McNeil, publisher of Return the Whistleblower Kids to Their Russian Family and In the Best Interest of the Whistleblower Kids. So then we've got links to a Channel 4 broadcast on the 3rd of October 1990 called Listen to the Children. It might be a book, actually. The next one is the United Kingdom, the world's paedophilia epicenter, book 2 of 5. And the third, The Blood Cult, and Made in Switzerland about SRA victims. There's plenty of evidence out there, people. The table of contents, introduction and summary by a systems analyst, Channel 4, accused the Hampstead paedophile hoax ring by Story Films. The Hampstead scene, the global stage of SRA, satanic ritual abuse. 2, shocking eye-openers. The Hampstead children confirm adult survivors in 2014. Baby Sunaina, tortured and killed by the National Health Service, UK in 2000. 3, Channel 4 from Listen to the Children and Beyond Belief. 2, Hoax Promoter, 1990, Beatrix Campbell for Dispatches. 1992, Beyond Belief, Dispatches by Andrew Boyd, author of Blasphemous Rumours. 2016, Hampstead Cover-Up by Police and Courts. 2024, Accused, a Hampstead paedophile hoax by Story Films for Channel 4. 4, Parallels in Wales, Boy Anglesey in 2023. Yeah. Okay, I don't have to agree with everything I read. I'm going to read out what's written here.
Yeah. I don't think it works to read out the table of contents.
Well, I think it's very interesting. I think it's fantastic, and it's an overview. I think it's very helpful. So, Channel 4, yeah, 1990, Beatrix Campbell for dispatches beyond belief. Hampstead cover-up, accused, right? Parallels in Wales, boy Anglesey in 2023, US adult survivor, confirmed the children's allegations. David Shurter, author of Rabbit Hole, satanic abuse survivor. 10 blog posts with Hampstead and 10 with Hoaxstead. Australian James Robertson and the Children in Crimes of Empire, SRA in general. 7 posts about Hampstead in particular. 2 Swiss films confirm SRA globally. I don't think there's any doubt now. If there is, people haven't done their research. The Blood Cult, 27 victims, 27 witnesses online since 16th of June, 2023. That's my birthday. The Blood Cult, 111 victims, 50 witnesses, 50 perpetrators since 28th of October, 23. Dramatic discoveries by Canadian psychotherapist Sandra Fecht. Stages of Horror. Key books and ITV for UK exposure. The Devil's Work, Blasphemous Rumors, is satanic ritual abuse fact or fantasy? An investigation. Laurie Matthew, books about ritual abuse and its victims. Hollywood as capital of worldwide SRA. Some say London. Suicided in Hollywood. The United Nations under the control of pedophilia. Where are the missing children? Janet Seaman from Germany and Sten Mayo from France. Survivors drop names at International SRA conference in the UK. Ted Gunderson, former FBI special agent. Pedo Empire strikes back online and in 5 books. Pedoempire.org is about pedophilia and empire, Satan, sodomy, and the deep state. 250,000 millennia of human enslavement, child rape, and blood sacrifice from antiquity to the modern Catholic Church. The United Kingdom, the world's paedophile epicenter. The Rothschild Illuminati bloodline and ties to more British scandals. North America's shameful pedophilia scandals exposed like never before. Pedophilia operations in Europe, Australia, the Middle East, and the rest of the planet. 14. The professional realms of plausible deniability. Police for arrests because they are complicit and because they can. Courts for prisons because it's all about money. Quote, unquote, the devil is real. Karen, the Catholic priest in prison. Making sense in the psychological challenge. Heaven is real. Thousands of near-death experiences, NDEs. We believe the children, a hoax alternative to end deniability. Social media step in when mainstream betrays. Countries of victims and perpetrators in the blood cult films. Yeah, okay. 1, introduction and summary by a systems analyst. Do you want me to read the introduction and summary?
I don't know. I mean, you feel the
okay, I'll read the whole thing, and if we cut out, we can edit this and cut out afterwards. Introduction and summary by a systems analyst, Channel 4, accused. Hampstead paedophile hoax ring by Story Films. The announcement was made on the 24th of August, 2023. I only saw it, this is Sabine, on the 19th of November, 2023. This compilation of facts is triggered by the entrapment by Story Films into an interview for the planned Channel 4 broadcast. I finally got to read the title, Accused, the Hampstead Paedophile Hoax Ring, from one of the many supporters of the children's testimony accusations. This is 1 year after many conversations with Tom of Story Films, who claimed to be the producer, but used the email address research at storyfilms.tv. This is nearly 10 months after their filming, and my caveat and outright withdrawal of consent, the non-disclosure of the title, was one of my 10 reasons. The accusers were 2 children, then 8 and 9 years old. The inventor of quote unquote, "it's a hoax" is their father, as shown below on the front page of Believe the Children. And then we have a screenshot when Hampstead children's disclosure videos that went viral on the internet. Many turned to YouTube to listen to their young voices speaking about horrific abuse, depravities of men that children should never know about. Horrified, we listened. A few short days later, February the 20th, 2015, the very first video claiming, quote unquote, "it's a hoax" came out. Uploaded by the YouTube account called Sound Effects at the time, but has changed its name many times since. I know well who that is. The channel is now, most recently, been called Spiny Norman. We know it's the same channel that was created October the 30th, 2014, after disclosure, yet before the videos went viral in February 2015, because the Earl of the channel hasn't changed. It is still Pleiadian Reborn. And there's a very good case made as to who. Hampstead Christchurch was first archived on 7th of March 2015. Amazingly researched, boldly and brazenly formulated by US. Oh, this is Christine Ann Sands. She shouted the Earl among demonstrators outside the church after Sabine, had gone into exile, fearing the prosecution recommended by Barnet Council. Christine was the first to be arrested, together with Neelu Chowdhury, who put a bundle of 1,106 pages together for the Supreme Court. The children's accusations opened her eyes to the injuries on her niece's body. A lot of people woke up to the realities of SRA after the children's disclosures, and will be forever grateful to those brave children. And then Sabine says, "I am a quote unquote interested party as I gave her a statement over the phone. From prison," you gave a statement to Christine Ann Sands, where I...
Oh, to Neelu.
Oh, to Neelu, but okay. "From prison where I spent 4 years. The fake narrative of my case is now repeated as the story of the Channel 4 film. 4 of the 175 named abusers parade as victims of harassment, despite clear cover-up by the police, as also demonstrated in this no crime report on Christine's site. As a legally very knowledgeable advocate, Neelu points to penalties for assisting offenders. It is a criminal offence to know about a crime and not to assist in the apprehension or prosecution of the alleged perpetrators. Hampstead Research is the site that collated facts substantiating the children's accusations." It was incredible. An impressive list of videos that investigate the key players and their online presence, e.g. the police raid, teachers, churches, lock and shoe shop round the corner from where Sabine, had lived for 40 years, a Hampstead child trafficker, ? Who was involved? Hampstead Research is the counterattack of the accused, always full of malice and online stalking, including the photos of all of us supporters at some stage, always well informed by police. Hampstead cover-up was built on behalf of the mother and her then partner. The global stage of SRA, satanic ritual abuse. Canadian Benjamin Fulford, living in Japan, speaks of the Khazarian Mafia and Octopus as the elite groups responsible for world policies carried out by deep states behind the facade of public officials. American-German lawyer Dr. Rainer Fulmich led an international commission into COVID research and quotes Catherine Austin Fitts, Mr. Global, as the symbol for world domination. And these, when you get this document, people, there are links for everything. Swiss lay preacher Ivo Sassak's most recent address of his 19th anti-censorship conference is entitled Number One Enemy of the State, the Octopus in State Guise. His daughter, Lois Sassak, produced The Blood Cult, and with testimonies of first 27, then 111 victims, 50 witnesses, and 50 perpetrators. They all demonstrate how SRA is the common denominator for controlling nation states and their currencies to pay public institutions. It's blackmail as well. That's me. Joachim Hagen, am I right? I need to... Yes. Website, pedoempire.org, is about satanic empire child trafficking, torture, and murder by the elite with adrenochrome, blackmail, and cannibalism. Slip there, cannibalism. His 5 books include The United Kingdom, the World's Paedophile Epicenter, and The Rothschild Illuminati Bloodline and Ties to More British Scandals. This article is a reflection of what David Icke called state kidnapping when I came across baby Harley in South Wales around 2010. He was allergic to industrial milk, but social services knew better, and I shall never forget the photo of fridge full of the mother's milk. However, this text is about the institutionally organized, orchestrated, protected, and covered up abuse that I came across thanks to a Russian mother in 2014. She asked us as the Association of Mackenzie Friends for help after 2 solicitors had failed her. However, they did pass on the CDs with the police interviews of the then 8-year-old boy and 9-year-old girl. Further private videos summarized extreme and exceptional abuse and killing, which is also described in the 2 Swiss films, The Blood Cult and It, and 11. Oh, sorry. Ooh. Is it called 11, the second one?
No, it's a Roman 1 and a Roman 2.
Oh, 2. Okay, right. Both mention the Hampstead children and their accusations of their father being the leader of a cult in which church, several schools, police, and other professionals participate. For me, that became the eye-opener to a world that has led from one shock to another and one level of hounding, harassment, and persecution after another. However, I am far from alone. I hope that my experiences contribute to the tide turning, not only for these activities of cruelty and criminality, but all other destructive agendas towards world control by child sacrifice and subsequent blackmail. Before I met the mother, neither she nor I knew about SRA. Until then, the worst of my cases had been the one of the Nigerian family whose eldest daughter was molested by the son of the foster parents. Their second daughter told her mother that they were taken to dark places at night where there were only men. The little boy asked her, "Mummy, what is paedophilia?" Her 7th child was taken from her in a prison cell. I learned about that from American Melissa Laird, whom I helped to prevent deportation without her son. All cases of false criminalization of parents so that the state can legitimize a child kidnapping. This was confirmed.
Need to stop now, Angie, and I think it's going to take ages.
Okay, I'll just finish this paragraph and then we'll carry on. This was confirmed to me when I was in prison for 4 years. I spoke about it to Angela Power Disney on video. She is an abuse survivor and being harassed by the UK despite living outside jurisdiction. But her social media sites are so popular that they've been getting taken down by the powers that be. Okay, we can leave it there for today. I think this is worth doing. I want to see what page we're on.
That's just the first couple or so, or three or so. It's just not far enough. But I mean, when you present it, we don't see your head. We see the document.
Yeah, well, I think that's important. My head is getting very old. It's a good head for radio.
No, it's the voice. I agree. The voice is good, but the voice has to accompany the text, not your head.
Were you seeing my head?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw the text.
You didn't see the text?
No.
Okay, that's because I didn't do share screen. Because you said you prefer to listen. So you just saw my head straining at the... Okay, well, we'll leave it there for today. I don't need you to join me for the rest of the reading this into the record.
No.
I'll carry on with it. And now you did correct me on a couple of things, which was very helpful, but when I finish reading this in, even if it's 4 videos, then we'll do a follow-up interview. How does that sound?
Yeah, let's do that. If you do that with the document visible, and
I could have done that. It's just when I said, shall I share screen, you said no, just audio. So
of course I didn't realize that implication. Okay.
So it's 2 o'clock. Is there I like to keep things to an hour just so people can digest things. Is there anything you want to say just at this point? And I will work hard to try and get the rest of this on video.
I particularly like the fact that you started out with the media stories, and that I really appreciate that, and that kind of helped me open up to looking at this whole thing. So all in all, I think the purpose was accomplished, to be healing as you intended to.
Yeah. And also I've seen it not just with Melanie Abbott and then with the Tortoise Media and now Storybook and Channel 4. I've seen this happen many times, and Channel 4 have been guilty of this too in the past, where people have been told either by the BBC or Channel 4, oh yeah, we're going to do a documentary on this. Yeah, would you like to take part? And then they're horrified at the end product. It's just being seduced, entrapped, or groomed, or all three.
Complete lies. Oh no, we won't misrepresent you. No. Okay. End of interview.
Yeah.
For today.
Okay. God bless.
And you. Bye for now, Angie. Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you for your help.
No problem.